Hi, I'm Tawanda Ewing, and this is Mindfull Mindfull, a series where I draw from science, engineering, and personal experiences to give you an interesting perspective on everyday life. I hope you enjoy it, and let me know what you think in the comments.
Energy holds a special position in our universe. If there was no energy, everything would be static, and I'm sure the universe would straight up stop existing. As humans, we collect and use energy on a daily basis, not only for our bodies, but for a whole bunch of things around us. What I want to focus on now is the idea of a person's energy and how they use it. Have you ever heard someone say something like, "That guy is giving off some bad energy," or "She brings a lot of good energy with her"? Well, I've heard similar statements quite a bit, and it got me thinking, can energy really be bad or good? And how would I go about proving something like that? Well, it's not an easy task, but here's what I came up with. To begin, let's make sure that we're on the same page about some of the key properties of energy. Property number one comes from the first law of thermodynamics, which is energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only converted into different forms. This implies the second property of interest, which is there is a finite amount of energy in our universe. The third and final property is that energy can be released at different rates. Think nuclear bomb, lots of energy in one moment, versus nuclear power plant, lots of energy over a long period of time. Now that we've got that covered, let's get back to trying to prove if people can have good or bad energy. The last property points to something that might help, which is that energy is released over time, which also happens to be the formula for power. One undeniable fact is that humans have a fixed amount of time to exist. And like I mentioned earlier, during that time, we use energy, of course. From here, it's not that hard to imagine that if you had two humans that exist for the same amount of time, one might have used a lot more energy than the other in that time. In my mind, I think of an athlete versus someone who has an office job, for example. This comparison leads us to the next step in trying to prove if energy can be bad or good. That is, most humans alive today have a choice when it comes to what they do with their energy. Now, things get a little bit complicated because you can spend your energy on so many things that it's hard to count. But for the sake of keeping things simple, let's say you can either use your energy to destroy or create. At this point, it might be tempting to think that using energy to destroy is bad and using it to create is good. However, things are never really that simple. Demolition workers spend their energy destroying, but it's for a good thing. And people who work in myth labs spend most of their energy creating, but yeah, you know. So what could possibly make energy bad or good? This is where things become more hand-wavy instead of hard science, but let's see how far it gets us. Let's imagine that in our effort to use our energy to destroy or create as we choose, we end up unintentionally or intentionally undoing someone else's energy. When we're doing our thing, we probably have no malicious intent and view how we're spending our energy as good, because we're completing some goal we have in mind. On the other hand, someone else has a different goal in mind, and our efforts come across as bad because we're making them use energy that they didn't want to. So in a nutshell, if someone makes you spend energy you don't want to as a result of how they're spending their energy, from where you're standing, that person is definitely giving off bad energy. Okay, this is great, but the issue is people usually pick up on bad energy coming from someone before they get the chance to make you use energy unwillingly. So how do you explain that? This had me stuck for a while until I boiled it down to goals and how they don't align when we meet certain people. Like I mentioned earlier, People usually spend their energy trying to achieve something that's good for them and not necessarily for you. As a result, having certain goals may be linked to certain characteristics that act as indicators when someone uses their energy in a way that undoes your energy. We can learn to pick up on these characteristics through first-hand experiences or from experiences of others around us. These characteristics are what end up making us feel as though someone is giving off bad or good energy. However, our senses aren't always accurate, and sometimes we may get the feeling that someone is giving off bad energy only to find out later on that they're actually quite helpful. Now, this proof isn't perfect, but working through it helped me uncover some insights about energy and how I use it. As we saw in property number 2 earlier, the energy in our universe is fixed. So by just being alive, you get your very own snippet of this energy to use as you please. Naturally, you have goals you want to pursue with this energy, but in doing so, you might undo the efforts of others, making them use more energy than they want to, making you come across as someone who gives off bad energy. So it's important to spend your energy in a way that it doesn't undo a lot, thus resulting in less resistance and freeing up more energy to use towards your goal. At the end of the day, how our energy comes across varies from individual to individual, and it's just important to be aware of the effect we're having on other people's efforts, because it could save you a lot of trouble. So until next time, stay mindful.
This video was brought to you by Emoji Urban Culture. Emoji Urban Culture is a store based in South Africa that specializes in Rasta wares and accessories. For more information, you can visit the store website at www.emojiurbanculture.co.za.